of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey, it's Ann Perry. Thanks so much for joining me today. This is part 2 of a series of 4 videos I've created for you, which talk about each karmic debt individually. So we've already looked at the karmic debt of 13.4. So today we're going to be looking at 14.5. So maybe some of you know that you have a karmic debt of 14.5. Maybe you don't. It's okay. We're going to talk about where you can find it, what it means, what are the challenges, and how do you get through it. So it seems to be a really hot topic. I have to say that it's probably the biggest question that gets asked of me is karma, right? Everybody's calling me, asking me, what do I do about my karmic debts? So I thought it might be fun to explore them all individually a little deeper. So let's take a little closer look at the 14.5. All right, so first of all, we want to talk about karmic debts as a whole, okay? Because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So in numerology, we observe 2 different types of karmic numbers. We've got karmic debts and we have karmic lessons. So a karmic debt is the big one. It's the heavy, right? It's the one that kicks your ass all the time. It's the one that's really in your face and you really feel it, okay? And there are only 4 karmic debt numbers, which include 13, 14, 16, and 19. A karmic lesson is quite different. A karmic lesson comes from missing letters in your birth name. So we're not going to be talking about that in this particular video, but I just want you to know there is a distinctive difference there, and the karmic debts are the ones you're likely going to feel a little bit more. So the karmic debt holds a bigger punch, if you will. So the karmic debt can also be referred to as a testing number, a warning number, or even a hidden number. But basically what it does is it indicates that you've got a debt to pay in this lifetime for bad behavior in a previous lifetime. So when you see any one of these numbers showing up in a chart, it's a good indicator that this is an old soul we're dealing with. To have the karmic debt show up in your chart tells me that you've walked the planet before, or you wouldn't have any karmic debt to pay back this time. So chances are you're a pretty old soul. So you're working with issues from the past, bad behavior from the past. I like to say that those of us, I say us because I have a couple as well, those of us were badasses in a previous lifetime. So this time around, we're paying back big time. So an example of a karmic debt in a life path number, I illustrated this in the 13.4 video, but if you didn't have an interest in 13.4, you wouldn't have seen it. So I have to repeat it for those who have not seen this. So here's an example of a karmic number that might show up in your chart. So we're talking about the birth date of March 23rd, 1985. So we're going to break it down this way. March equals 3, because it's the 3rd month. The 23rd day, add 2 and 3 together, it comes to 5. 1985, we're going to add that together. 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5 equals 23. And 2 and 3 equal 5. So now we're going to add those digits up together. So 3 plus 5 plus 5 equals 13. So 13 is a karmic debt number, okay? So we're going to keep adding 1 and 3 equals 4. So if you were to write it down, you would write it down as a 13.4 rather than just a 4. It's very important that we illuminate the fact that there's a karmic debt at play here. Now this person could have been possibly a 31.4 or a 22.4, right? But they're not. They're a 13.4. And that's why I encourage you to break down dates of birth separately. Month, day, year. Break each component down separately, reduce it to a single digit or a master number, and then do your calculations. You want to make absolutely certain you're not missing a karmic debt if it actually exists. So remember that karmic debts can be seen in the life path number, the expression number, the heart's desire number, the day of your birth number. It can also show up in cycles like pinnacles and essences. But not everyone is going to have a karmic debt showing up in their chart. So don't panic about that. I get all kinds of people contacting me saying, well, life is just a bit of a shit show right now. How is it possible? I don't have any karmic debts going on. Doesn't mean you don't have karmic debt. Does not mean you're not paying back karma. It simply means that it's not showing up in your numerology chart. Okay, so whatever is pertaining to the karmic debts shown in the numerology chart, you're likely not working on them. But that does not make you exempt from karma. That'd be way too easy. So the karmic debt of 14.5. So the 14 karmic debt arises from previous lifetimes during which human freedom has been abused. So take note now. We're going to break these numbers down. We've got a 1, we've got a 4, and we've got a 5. So the 1, when we're talking about karmic debts, always talks about selfishness, being very self-focused, okay, being very selfish. So this means to say that somebody who has a karmic debt of the 14-5 was very selfish, okay? They were likely prisoners or slaves in a previous lifetime. It's not unusual for somebody to have a 14-5 karmic debt that experiences claustrophobia. Has a really hard time with that. Or being micromanaged, being told what to do, when to do, where to be there kind of thing. They want to break the rules because they were trapped in a previous lifetime. But they were trapped and possibly as a prisoner or a slave because of bad behavior. So now you're forced to adapt to ever-changing circumstances in this lifetime, unexpected events, didn't see that coming moments. So you need to learn how to be flexible, adaptable, resilient in the face of change. You've got the potential of becoming a slave again to your own freedom through the abuse of drugs, alcohol, maybe an overindulgence in food, maybe sex, gambling, whatever. But the key to the 14 karmic debt is commitment. Okay, it's all about commitment because life is going to resemble a roller coaster ride. But if you'll stay focused, okay, the 5 tends to attract a little bit of activity and drama at times. But if you'll stay focused, you'll get to where it is you want to go. The 5 is easily distracted. When we break down the 5, we see the 1, which is all about you. Okay, the 4 is you developing a plan, a step-by-step plan, so that you can have the freedom that you so desire. So, if you are experiencing 14-5, you might have the tendency to have people say to you, come on, let's go on this trip. I just got this amazing trip, and it's only like $900 to go for the week. Are you in or are you out, right? Well, the 5 says, I want to go play. And the 4 says, no. I can't play. I have to stay home and be good. I have to stay home and pay my bills. I can't take any risks because it's really scary because I know in a previous lifetime I kind of lost it all. That ain't happening this time around. So I'm going to be really, really careful, very, very cautious this time around. Okay. So it's a bit of a dichotomy because this guy over here, the 5 wants the freedom and the 4 says, no, I want responsibility and security and I want my plan in place. So what is the 14-5 karmic debt really here to master? They're here to learn how to be more confident while releasing self-doubt related to the number 1. Remember, that's right here, the number 1. The 1 is about being confident, independent, acting on their own accord. These are people that need to learn how to be confident and stand up for themselves, to be seen, to be heard, that sort of thing. But they have trouble with that sometimes. Remember, the numbers to the left of the slash, they're always lessons. Okay, this is not a gift or a strength. This is what you're learning. So they're also here to learn how to master a step-by-step approach to attaining their goals, and that's related to the 4. Remember the 4? 4 posts in the ground. Got to build a foundation. How do we build a foundation? We've got to start with a plan, right? So the 4 is all about the plan. So the 14-5 is here to work through issues related to the proper use of freedom, which relates to the 5. So that's setting boundaries. The 5 has an addictive tendency to it, right? So this is setting boundaries. This is saying that, I can have a drink, maybe 2, but that's it. That's my limit, Or I'm not going to have 2 servings of ice cream after my meal, that sort of thing. So we want to be really certain that we understand that the 5 does have an addictive tendency when it stands alone. In particular, if it's a life path number of a 23-5 or 32-5 or whatever, they have a bigger tendency for addictions. In this case, a lot of times those of you who have the 14-5 in your charts, on a cellular level, you remember, cellular memory, you remember that you lost everything in a previous lifetime because you were a bad gambler or you're a bad drinker, maybe a drug addict, whatever, right? But you know that. So this time around, you have a tendency to kind of be a little bit more cautious at times. And remember, there's a positive and a negative side to each number, so you can go with the positive or you can go with the negative. It's hard to say how you're going to roll this out. But you do have a tendency to want to overindulge, okay? So this 14-5 tends to rein you back in a little bit, but at the same time, you're intended to learn about life, to experience life. They want you to experience things. They want you to go out and have a drink and go out and party with your friends and have people in and maybe go to the casino for a little while. But it's all within healthy limits, okay? This is what the 14-5 is teaching you. It's okay to do those things, but you have to be a little bit more responsible. If you want to buy a house, for example, you've got to learn how to save your money so that you can have the freedom that you want from the landlord that you hate. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so the karmic debt 14-5 is a life path number. If this comes in as a life path number, it shows that the person with the 14-5 life path number has to learn how to be committed to things, including their interests, their personal interests, their hobbies and such, to their jobs, to their relationships. The 5 likes change, right? Likes to change it up, shake it up, make it different. They bore really easily. So that's why a 5 is sometimes hard to catch. I always laugh at the 5s that get married, and I'm like, really? This one must be pretty special, because the 14-5 says, I'm not so sure I want to get hooked up and committed, right? So the 14-5 has to learn how to stop scattering their energy. It can be all over the place, and they don't really accomplish too much, and so they feel really badly about themselves because they're not getting anything done. They need to learn how to finish what they start, and they need to develop confidence within themselves to create a plan while following it through so that they can have the freedom that they desire. Did I say freedom? You guys are all about the freedom. 14-5 is an expression number. When the karmic debt of 14-5 shows up as an expression number, the person with this debt might have an unrealistic view of his talents and his gifts, okay, which can then lead him to disappointment when he sets the bar unrealistically high. Sometimes they're dreamers. 14-5s have a tendency to kind of not really be grounded. Remember, the 4 is about being grounded, and that's to the left of the slash, so it's a lesson. So sometimes when they're not grounded, they're kind of lofty, and they're up in their heads, and they're dreaming about things, and they kind of make themselves into somebody that they're really not, right? And they might, sign up for a job that's way beyond their capabilities, and they take it on, but then they find out that, I'm not really up to the task. So they can be a dreamer who gets really frustrated, and they end up quitting before they actually meet their goals. So if it shows up as a heart's desire number, the heart's desire number, remember, comes from the vowels of the birth name. The expression number comes from all of the letters in your birth name. So in this case, we're looking at all the vowels in your birth name, creating the heart's desire number. The 14-5 shows as the heart's desire number. You may experience a lot of ups and downs with your relationships. Remember, the heart's desire is kind of about relationships, right? So the 5 is about change, unexpected events, sudden endings, sudden shifts and whatnot. You might experience your share of that. Addictions are a possibility here, as we talked about earlier, which can cause can cause people to act badly. That can cause the relationship to end, obviously. And the refusal to reach out and try new things. Remember, the 4 says, no, I want to stay home and be responsible. But the 5 says, oh, yeah, you got to go out and play. So sometimes it's hard to get somebody with 14-5 to reach out to try new things. As simple as, let's go meet some new people. We've been invited out to my friend's house. Let's go. No, I don't really feel like it because I don't know them. And, they can become kind of stick in the muds. Whereas straight up 5 is like, let's do it. I don't care. This is great. They love it. But the 14-5, sometimes it can be a bit of a stick in the mud. So they need to learn how to take good calculated risks so as to satisfy their desire for freedom. Remember, the 1 is all about independent action, right? Not selfishly, but well-rounded independent action, developing a plan so they can have the freedom that they desire. And when we look at it as a birthday number, we recognize if that's all you're looking at, you look at somebody who was born on the 14th day, you know that this is somebody who's going to bore really easily. They can be very easily distracted. They're charming. They're always very charming. They can sell ice to the Eskimos with no problem whatsoever. They have a big need for their freedom, but they're often afraid of risks, as we talked about earlier. And they may be a little too concerned for security, right? That 4 is about security. I can't play. I can't take risks because I have to have enough money in the bank to take care of me into the future. So they have a little bit of fear in there. So they might be a little too concerned about that. They can be very focused on their way, and that's the highway, and they're completely inflexible. They might have difficulty adapting to and accepting change. And that's it. I hope that you gained some new insight on the 14-5 today. You will be seeing another video on the 16-7 and the 19-1 coming up shortly. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Post them down below. I'd love to hear from you. I do have a course you might be interested in. It's a free course, and it's on udemy.com. All you need to do is search for Uncover Your Karmic Lessons and Karmic Debts with Numerology. I'd love for you to take it. As I say, it's free of charge. It's a great course. Start when you want, finish when you want. You can contact me at annperrynumerologist.com. I do offer personal readings if you're interested. I have a Facebook page that you might want to join. And I would just ask that you would subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. In the meantime, I'm hoping you're having a great day. Take care. Bye for now.